Hello, yogis. Namaste. My name is Hart Williams, and this is your restorative yoga practice. We'll start out tonight's practice in a comfortable seated position, Sukhasana, placing our hands at heart center, on the belly, or on the lap, wherever they feel most comfortable. Closing the eyes or taking a soft gaze ahead, we begin to tune into the breath. Not changing it just yet, not judging it, simply becoming aware. And as we begin to notice the inner landscape of the body, we can begin to extend each inhale and exhale a little bit deeper. Sending our breath to the parts of us where we're holding on to tension. The parts of us that just want to move. The parts of us that aren't ready to be seen. We send our love. We send our energy. We send our breath here. We begin by taking some of the deepest breaths you've taken all day, allowing your lungs to fill up completely. And exhale as you release completely. Creating a slow, steady breath. Next inhale, arms come overhead, palms meet. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, cactus the arms, little back bend. Inhale back to center. And exhale, our arms float back down to the mat. From here, we're going to send our feet straight out in front of us, finding Dandasana, staff pose. We'll roll out our ankles, swoosh our feet from side to side, flex and point the toes. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, reaching for your feet, letting your head hang, putting a good bend in your knee if you need it. Deep breaths here. Next inhale, we're going to rise back up. Our left foot comes to the inner right thigh. We'll inhale, arms come overhead, turn to your toes. Exhale, reaching for your right foot, letting your head hang. Deep breaths here. Next inhale, we're gently rising back up, taking a breath to switch out the legs. As you're ready, inhale, arms come overhead, turn to the toes. Exhale, reaching for your left foot, letting your head hang. Deep breaths here. Next inhale, we're gently going to rise back up. And from here, we'll take a straddle stance, rolling out the ankles. We'll start moving from left to right, warming up the spine. We'll reach our hands overhead, coming towards the left foot, staying open through the chest, so we're not caving down like this. We're staying nice and open. Deep breaths here. Next inhale, we're going to rise back up, finding that left and right, back and forth. We're going to reach on over to our right side, staying open through the chest. Deep breaths here. Inhale, we're going to rise back up, going left to right. And from here, we'll make our way to a tabletop position. We'll continue warming up the spine with Merjanasana, cat-cows. Inhale, dropping the belly, gazing up for cow pose. Exhale, tucking the head under, arching the back for cat pose. And just moving with your own breath cycle here. Coming back to a neutral tabletop, take a deep breath in. Exhale, sending your hips back, reaching forward, Balasana, child's pose. Knees can be open or closed, whatever feels best on your body. Third eye to mat connection, deep breaths here. Walking our hands over to the left side of the mat, we send our breath to the right side body, opening up through the right rib cage. Coming back to center Balasana, we'll take a deep breath here. And walking our hands over to the right side of the mat, we send our breath to the left rib cage, left side body. Coming back to center Balasana, we'll take one more deep breath here. Next inhale, we'll come back up to tabletop, moving through cat-cow, or finding any organic movement that feels good. This might be hips side to side, going back and forth between Balasana and up dog. Really listening to your spine, listening to your hips, taking what you need. And coming back to a neutral spine. Next inhale brings our right hand into the sky, rolling out the wrist, opening up through the front of the chest. Exhale, right hand sails across the chest, left hand reaches forward for thread the needle. This is a beautiful place to stay. If you'd like to go a little further, left hand can reach behind the back, finding a partial bind. Deep breaths here. Releasing your left hand down next to the shoulder. We'll use that to push ourselves back up to tabletop, finding cat-cow or any organic movement that's calling to you. Next inhale, we'll bring your left hand into the sky, rolling out the wrist and opening up through the front of the chest. Exhale, left hand sails across the chest, right hand reaches forward for thread the needle on the other side. If you took the option for a bind on the other side, try it here as well and just see how that feels. And releasing that bind if you took it. Right hand comes next to the shoulder. We use that to push ourselves back up to tabletop as we move through cat-cows or any organic movement that's calling to you. Coming back to our neutral tabletop, we'll tuck the toes, take a deep breath in. Exhale, hips in the air, Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. It's our first down dog of the practice, so feel free to pedal out your knees, move your hips, take what you need here. Next inhale brings our right leg into the sky. Option to bend the knee, really open up the hip. Exhale, right foot steps between the hands, left knee drops. We find ourselves in low lunge. Option to grab your props to help support you. We're double checking the alignment, that your toes are closer to the front of the mat than your knee. We want to make sure we're protecting our knee joint here as we send our breath to the inner left hip crease. Deep breaths here. Exhale, we're straightening the front leg, chest melting towards the knee in half splits. Our toes are either pointed up towards the ceiling or we're rocking back and forth, finding a dynamic stretch here. Staying connected to the breath. Listen to your body. And we'll come back to low lunge, taking another deep breath here. And placing both your hands on the mat, tucking the left toes, left knee raises, right foot meets the left in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. You can find stillness, maybe some movement. Take what you need. And as you're ready, next inhale brings left leg into the sky. Option to bend the knee to open up the hip. Exhale, left foot steps between the hands. Right knee drops as we find low lunge on the other side, finding our props to help support us in this pose. Double checking that alignment, toes closer to the front of the mat than your knee, supporting our knee joint and sending our breath to the inner right hip crease. Deep breaths here. And exhale, we're straightening our front leg. Chest is melting towards the knee in half splits. Maybe your toes are pointed up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're getting a dynamic stretch here, rocking back and forth. Listen to your body. Take what you need. And we're coming back to low lunge for another deep breath here. And placing your hands on the mat, tucking the right toes, right knee raises, left foot meets the right in downward facing dog. Pedaling out the knees, moving your hips. From here, we're going to walk our feet towards our hands, grabbing either elbow, putting a good bend in the knee, letting your head hang, swinging from right to left, nodding your head yes, shaking it no, and just allowing that cervical spine to release. We'll inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, let it fall. Next inhale, we're going to rise up vertebra by vertebra, saving the head for last. Finding our way to Tadasana, mountain pose. From here, we're going to take a wide stance, arms at a T. And here we are in five-pointed star, bringing to the mind's eye a blessing in your life, something that you're grateful for. Exhale, hugging it into the chest, bringing that blessing into your being. Next inhale, we're going to open on up. Toes point forward. Exhale, palms melt through, heart center down to the mat as we find a wide-legged forward fold. You might need to adjust your stance here to get nice and comfortable, finding the version of this pose that feels best on your body. We'll inhale to a halfway lift, taking a breath here. Next inhale brings our right hand into the sky, getting a little twist. Exhale brings it back down to the mat. Inhale, left hand into the sky, getting a little twist the other way. Exhale, bringing it back down to the mat. From here, we're going to shorten our stance just a little bit. And our hips are going to drop down as we find Malasana Yogi Squat. You might want to grab a block, placing it underneath your hip bones to give yourself a little bit of support here. Finding the version of this pose that feels best on your body. Our hands are at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Our focus returns to the breath. Our awareness is in our fingertips, thumbs to thumbs, index to index, middle to middle, ring to ring, little to little. And just holding this energy here at heart center. Releasing this mudra, we'll twist to the right side. Option to reach all the way behind you, taking a partial bind. Or I guess that's a full bind. It looks like this from behind. Staying connected to the breath, allowing our organs to detox here. We'll inhale back to center, hands in Anjali Mudra. And if you took the option to twist on the other side, you can do so again here. If you took the option to bind on the other side, do so again here. We want to try to keep it nice and even. And we'll come back to our center, Yogi Malasana. And we'll go ahead and drop our hips all the way down to the mat, sending our left leg out. Our right knee is bent and in towards the chest. Our left hand is going to reach just above our right ankle. Our right hand is going to reach over the body, finding the left foot as we're staying nice and open through the chest. Getting a good side body stretch here. Deep breaths. Next inhale, we're gently going to rise on up, switching out the legs. Our left knee is in towards the chest. Right hand grabs just above the left ankle. And our left hand is going to reach overhead, finding our right foot. Deep breaths here. next inhale, we can gently rise back up. We're going to stay on our sit bones. And you can always have your blocks here if you're not really trying to do too much core work, but we're going to come back and we're just for a breath going to find Navasana boat pose. It's as if someone is pulling a string all the way up to the ceiling. Our arms swoop between the legs, knees separate, toes together, hands swoop underneath the calves as we're finding flower pose. Option to keep your feet resting on your blocks if you'd like a little bit of support here. Otherwise, we're using our balance. From the front, it looks like this. This is a beautiful place to stay, but if you'd like to take it a little bit further, we can straighten the legs, maybe grabbing your foot and then the other. And just finding that balance, that stretch that feels really good on your body. Staying connected to your breath. And exhale, we're going to bring it back down to the mat, finding our way into Bandha Konasana butterfly pose. Option to place your blocks underneath the knees to help support the hips. Placing one hand on the heart, the other just underneath the belly button on your dantian, sacral chakra. We tune into the center of love and center of life within us. Awareness returns to the breath in this present moment. We'll make our way back to a tabletop position where we'll move through cat-cows or any organic movement that's calling to you. Coming back to our neutral tabletop, tuck the toes, deep breath in. Exhale, hips in the air, downward facing dog. We're pedaling out the knees, moving the hips, just taking what you need. Inhale, right leg comes into the sky, bending the knee to open the hip. Exhale, right knee to right wrist. We're finding Kapotasana, pigeon pose. Option to pop a block underneath the glute to help support you. Otherwise, we're getting into the version of this pose that feels best on your body. We'll start off in an active pigeon. Option to bend the back leg, finding a mermaid pose. Really opening up through the hips, through the chest. And just playing around with your pigeon, finding whatever variation of this pose most calls to you. Yeah, my shoulders really needed this. And releasing that back foot, if you took it, we'll do one more breath in. Exhale, gently lowering down to the mat, block, or blanket, finding our way into sleeping pigeon. We are here for quite a few deep breaths, so make sure you get nice and comfortable, finding the most comfortable version of this pose. One more deep breath here. Next inhale, we'll gently rise back up to pigeon pose, taking a breath here. Placing both hands on the mat, tucking the left toes, left knee raises. Right foot meets the left in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. We're pedaling out the knees, moving the hips, taking what you need. And whenever you're ready, that next inhale will bring your left leg into the sky, bending the knee to open the hip. Exhale, left knee to left wrist, finding our way into Kapotasana, pigeon pose on the other side. Taking whatever micro adjustment you need to get nice and cozy here, using your blocks as needed. Feel free to use a strap to grab that back leg. Finding the version of pigeon pose that feels best on this side of your body. Maybe it's mermaid, maybe it's a full king pigeon, Ekapara Raja Kapotasana. It's probably my favorite asana to say in Sanskrit. Eka, one, para, leg, Raja, king, Kapo, pigeon, asana, pose. All right, releasing that back leg if you took it. One more deep breath in. And exhale, we're gently lowering down to the mat, block, or blanket, finding our way into sleeping pigeon pose. Taking whatever micro adjustment you need to get nice and comfortable here. Deep breaths. One more deep breath here. And pushing ourselves back up to Kapotasana, tucking the right toes, right knee raises. Left foot meets the right in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. It's our last down dog of the practice. So pedal out those knees. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Next inhale, we're going to round the spine forward. Hips drop as we push ourselves into our final up dog of the practice. Deep breath here. Exhale, send your hips back, reaching forward. Balasana, child's pose. Third eye to mat connection. Next inhale, we're going to rise back up, finding our way to the top of the mat in Bandha Konasana butterfly pose. Hands coming to wherever they feel most comfortable. And as you're ready, we'll gently bring our upper body down to the mat, finding a reclined butterfly. Hands can be on the belly, the chest, or wherever they feel most comfortable. And as we continue to breathe here, take notice if there's any tension holding on in your body. Releasing the jaw, removing the tongue from the top of the mouth, relaxing the eyebrows and all the muscles in the face, allowing your shoulders to melt into the mat, allowing your hips to relax and your body to melt down with each deep breath. From here, we'll bring the knees together. Heels come next to the hips. Hands come next to the hips as we get ready for a supported bridge pose. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hips in the air for bridge pose. We're taking 3 deep belly breaths here. You should be able to see your belly rise and fall. Exhale, gently lowering your hips back down to the mat. And from here, we'll cross our left leg over the right. Right foot comes on up as we grab our right thigh or calf for a supine figure 4. Deep breaths here. Gently releasing our right leg back down to the mat. We'll take a breath to switch it out, crossing right over left. And as you're ready, left leg rises on up into the sky, grabbing the thigh or calf, finding the version of supine figure 4 that feels best on your body. Deep breaths here. Gently releasing your left foot back down to the mat. We'll uncross the legs, taking a deep breath in. Exhale, hugging your knees into the chest. Give yourself so much love. Releasing your head back down to the mat, grabbing the outsides of the feet. We're in Ananda Balasana, happy baby. Option to rock from left to right. Maybe straightening one leg and then the other. And as you're ready, we can gently release into a full body stretch. Maybe getting in a little twist. Maybe getting in whatever little stretch or movement that your body still wants. Maybe a little twist. Take what you need. And when we're ready, we'll find our way to our final Savasana corpse pose. Palms facing up, eyes are closed. And feel free to grab your props, placing them under the hips, behind the shoulder blades, under the feet. Really whatever you need to create the most restorative Savasana. And as we continue to breathe, bringing to your mind's eye a healing white light energy known as Reiki, a sacred energy that is pure love, pure light, pure healing. You send this energy to the crown of your skull as it melts down into your face, between your eyebrows, into your third eye. Healing energy continues to stream down into your throat chakra, down into your shoulders, your chest, into your heart chakra, down your arms, and into your hands. This energy continues down into your solar plexus, down into your sacral, down to your hips and your sit bones, rooting you down your legs, and all the way into your feet. With your entire body steeped in Reiki healing energy. This energy creates a protective white light around your aura, cleansing you, restoring you, renewing you, and bringing you exactly what you need for your journey moving forward. You can stay here as long as you need, but whenever you're ready, we'll start to wake the body back up by wiggling the fingers and the toes, moving your props if you used them. And as you're ready, we'll gently roll to the left side, supporting your head with your arms, pushing ourselves back up to a comfortable seated position, where we'll meet with our hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra, sealing in all of the good energy from today's practice. Thank you all so much for being here. The light, love, and divinity in me honors the light, love, and divinity in you. Thumbs come to our third eye, we bow. Namaste.